everybody. I'm Deb Engle. I'm the author of Be the Light That You Are, and I am so excited today to be talking with Tama Kieves, who is one of my favorites. Course in Miracles teacher, author, a person who really understands what lights us up in life and in work. And we get to talk today about what really our inner light means. In Be the Light That You Are, obviously, it's all about finding that inner light, being guided by it, using it every day. And Tama really knows what that's all about from her own personal journey and also all of the things that she studied and teaches every single day. So Tama, thanks so much for being here. Welcome.
I'm honored to be here.
Well, it's going to be a fun conversation because I think we do just have so much in common, partly because of our A Course in Miracles background. I know that your books really come from that place, that understanding of the light within, of living either from fear and from love. You have written several books. You've taught at the Omega Institute, the Esalen Institute. You're known worldwide, but I want to give you a formal introduction here too for anyone who may not be familiar with your work. So it's important.
Do it.
Yes, there we go. I love doing this because there's just so much to talk about, your accomplishments. You are an honors graduate of Harvard Law School, which, that alone is pretty huge. But you left your law practice, with a prestigious law firm to write and to help others really soar in their own work, which I just love that you felt that inner calling and you acted on it. So you have served on the faculty at many different prestigious institutes. You have taught all over the world. And you've written the books Inspired and Unstoppable, Wildly Succeeding in Your Life's Work, A Year Without Fear, 365 Days of Magnificence, which is one of my favorites. It's a wonderful day book, for anybody who's looking for daily meditations. I love it. I refer to it every single day and just have that moment, that start to the day that just fills you up. You've also written This Time I Dance, Creating the Work You Love, and Thriving Through Uncertainty, Moving Beyond Fear of the Unknown, and Making Change Work for You. And in addition to all of that, as if that weren't enough, you've also been featured in USA Today and the Huffington Post and Forbes and ABC News and Oprah Radio and other national media. These days, you are also doing a lot of coaching, helping other people as a visionary, success and career coach, helping other people find their life's calling. So instead of just getting a paycheck, just being financially comfortable, they are getting up every morning and feeling great about who they are and what they can contribute to this world. So you are doing magnificent work in the world, and it's really an honor to talk with you about this whole idea of the light that we are, that shines within every one of us. So in Be the Light That You Are, as I mentioned, that is the premise of the whole book, that's the place we start, that we need to know that we are all have that light, that essence of love within us. And everything that we do that comes from that place then is filled with abundance, joy, healing, all of the things that we came here to do. And you understand that so well. So why don't we start by, if you could explain or kind of describe to us your understanding of the light within us. What does that mean to you?
I think you just said it so beautifully. And I think that the light within us is really the love within us, really our higher mind, our higher self. Like in my work, I often call it your inspired self rather than your tired self, rather than your limited self, rather than your ordinary self, that each of us has this spark of wonder, of intelligence, of love. And the more that we're listening to that love, it comes through us. It comes to us. It comes through us. And so I really think that the light within us is a source of so much strength and genius that we've skimmed the surface of. There's just so much there. So I'm so thrilled that you're doing this. I'm so thrilled that you're teaching other people to be the light they are, because now more than ever on this planet, that's what we need.
Now, for a lot of people, I think hearing the words, "You are the light of the world," or for them to say that to themselves can feel really uncomfortable. It can feel like, maybe that's even blasphemy to think that or to say it. And even if they don't feel that way, at least it just feels like it's something that they can't claim for themselves. If people are feeling that way, to hear that,
I think that's
what would you tell them?
I think that's really, really true. So like, as you mentioned, I've taught A Course in Miracles for 28 years. And it's one of the things that really informs my work. And that lesson, be the light of the world. I am the light of the world. Like you said, a lot of people start thinking, ooh, that's arrogant, or that sounds like a messiah complex, or, that just sounds, but again, I think each of us is tasked at this point in time, at all points in time, to own that light that's in us, to demonstrate that. And by saying I am the light of the world, what that really means for me, and what we're really talking about, is which voice inside yourself are you going to listen to? Which voice inside yourself are you going to listen to? Fear is talking to you. Limitation is talking to you. The voice of the world is talking to you, telling you you're not enough. But if you buy this product, maybe you will be. You're never going to be okay. You're never going to be this. You're never going to be that. And there's another voice in you. There's another voice in all of us that is this voice of infinite love and infinite grace and infinite strength. And so when it says, I'm the light of the world, it's like, you have a gift in this world. You have a mission in this world. I mean, my life's mission is to help other people find their life's mission. That's my jam. And because I know that every single person has a gift and a genius and a love and talents to give, but we're all sitting on our superpowers, playing it safe, being practical, being reasonable, when these are the days to wake up and honor what's inside you, and to not only enjoy your life, but again, we need your gifts. We need your talent. We need each of us being that light of the world. So I love that lesson. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I also love the line in the Course where it says, there's nothing that you need to do or say, or you don't have to prove the light that you are. Just be the light that you are. And I think it just dovetails so beautifully with what you were saying, where we are that light. And so we don't have to prove ourselves or prove that we do have worth or value, but we do get to take that light and then take it out into the world and use it in all sorts of exciting, fun, joyful, abundant ways. So I know for you, and that's very different than that voice of fear.
Absolutely. And people don't realize the strength that they're sitting on. People don't realize the possibilities that are available. Most of us don't realize that. We're, again, we are identifying with our limited selves, or what somebody else says we should do or could do or be, or what society says. And those of us who might be on a spiritual path, or daring to listen to our hearts, or those of us who are in a lot of pain, like just crazy pain, and who are willing to say, oh my God, there's got to be something else. There's got to be another way. I'm willing to try this. I mean, for me, I don't know about you, but for me, I didn't come to a spiritual path naturally. Like for me, I have a very linear mind and a skeptical mind. And I doubted a lot of these things. But the beauty of it is that when you start listening to that voice, and you start listening to that love, and you start listening to your heart, things happen that you can't explain. Things happen that are amazing. And you realize, oh my God, there is a different identity in me. There is a different possibility in me. There is a different life path in me. And that's really what I want for everybody.
Right. Well, and that leads so well when you said life path. Part of that is the work path too, or career path that people take. So for you, you did make a huge career transition when you left corporate law to write and to teach. And my understanding is that you left corporate law because it just didn't light you up. So you knew that there was something unexpressed within you. So can you tell us a little bit more about your own personal journey and that path to expressing in you?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I always think that we teach what we need to learn, and so I'm one of those people that I'm the poster child for not having listened to my light. I'm the poster child for squelching it, dampening it, and that's why I'm so passionate at this point in my life, because I know what it's like to not listen to your light. And I know what it's like to listen to your light. And my God, there's a difference. And so you mentioned my career path. The short version is, like many people, I kind of knew a little bit about what I wanted to do when I was younger. I was creative and I wanted to be a writer, and I'd studied creative writing in high school and I loved it. But I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and my family's Orthodox Jewish. And, there was just the belief system that anything creative or just, anything that wasn't a doctor or a lawyer, that's not acceptable. So my mother said something like, you're going to write. You're going to starve, you're going to write. And that was the dampening down of that voice in me, that calling, that desire to express in a certain way. And so I played it safe and I damped down that light, I tamped down what my heart wanted, what I felt called to, the crazy desire inside me. I tamped it down and I got practical and I got reasonable, and I went to law school and I got accepted to Harvard Law School and graduated with honors, and I was on partnership track in a major law firm. And there are so many people who have my kind of story where you are successful in a certain way, or it looks a certain way, but secretly you're dying, and secretly you're depressed, and secretly you keep thinking there's got to be something else. There's got to be something else, because there is. And thank God a friend of mine at the time just said something amazing. He said, think about it. If you've been this successful doing something you don't even love, what could you do with what you love? And that was my first awakening. That was my first thought, like, you know what? I've now seen what it means to be practical and reasonable, and how that really almost killed me, because I was really, really depressed. And I decided to follow love. I decided to say, okay, maybe those self-help books are right. Maybe there is an inner voice. Maybe there's something in there I should try. And that's what started this whole journey for me. I left, and I was not on a spiritual path before then. Like many of us, I got real spiritual real fast when you're scared, when you're in an uncertain place. It's like, okay, I hope that there's a light. I hope there's an infinite intelligence. And it has been the most amazing journey of my life. And I'm still on it, and I'm still learning to trust that light. And I'm still learning to follow that voice instead of fear, because at every moment of this journey, it will come up, right? At every moment of this journey, there's something that will whisper to you or moan to you, like, oh, don't try that, or that's ridiculous, or, oh yeah, you're the light of the world. Yeah, right. You can't even do X. And for those of us who are on a path like this, we are daring to listen to our unlimited strength at every moment. And that's what this path is. So, yeah. So I use my story to teach from all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. That leap of faith, trusting. I mean, in a way, I had kind of a similar story, that I was working in a corporate environment and, was on the track of what looked very, very successful. But I had always wanted to be a freelance writer. And this was back when I was 29 years old, so a few years ago. But I was also going through a divorce at the same time. And I knew that I would have to support myself. I knew that if I quit my job and started freelancing, I wouldn't have any paycheck, secure paycheck. I wouldn't have health insurance, all of those things. And yet there was something in me that just said, I'm going to do whatever it takes. If I need whatever I need to do, I'm willing to do it, because there's something in me that's calling me to express itself. And, that I made the leap. Can't say that it's always been easy by any means, but to wake up every morning feeling like you get to be you. That's something that I talk with my clients and my readers about a lot. It's just getting to be all of who you are, instead of one little piece of who you are over here and one little piece of who you are over here. To get to be all of who you are in every situation. That's the light that you are. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yummy way to live.
In some ways, that's how I define success, because people are always worried about, but the money and the this and the that. And there's ways to deal with all of that. And by the way, your spirit isn't stupid. Your spirit knows that you need to have lights on in the house and that you need to eat. But again, one of the redefining moments for me, because I had been on a competitive track and I had been on this place of defining success by how much money you make or how you look or any of those things. And some of what comes up for me in this that is like my definition of success is knowing that I'm doing the right thing with my time on earth. That I'm doing the right thing with my time on earth. There's a peace of mind. It's like what you were just saying, Deb, where there are challenges, there's frustrations. I'm human. There's stuff that doesn't go the right way, or I still have to learn, or I still have to grow. But at least for me, there's that sense of peace of going, yeah, but I'm being who I'm meant to be, or at least I'm on that journey. At least I'm daring that. So even if there's challenges or difficulties, it's in the service of something that's so much more and means so much more to me than most of us have challenges in everything, right? So I hear you. I think that peace of mind is worth everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So in working with so many people and helping them find their career path, what are some of the things that you, well, in addition to what you've already said, things that you advise people to do, or keys to really tapping into that light within and then trusting it to make that next step?
Yeah, that's everything. I think, one of the simplest things, one of the, most obvious things in some ways is do something you love, do something you love. Most of us are drawn to something that we might love, but we doubt it, or we think, the mind starts seizing in, right? So for me, this is the difference between a linear path and an inspired path. The linear mind is going to try to figure everything out and control everything and make figure out, like, I want 5,000 guarantees before I take one step. And I want to know exactly where this is going to go, and I'm going to Google it to find out. And what I'm always telling people is, let's get you doing something you love. Let's get you doing anything that feels like you, right? And it doesn't have to be career, right? It could be plant a garden, if you're dying to clean up your house. Anything that you love. When you start doing it, for me, using Course in Miracles terms, that spirit coming through us, right? Like when I'm following love, I always tell people, you discover who you are by following what you want. You discover who you are by following what you want. Meaning the more that you do what you love, you start discovering this strength you didn't know. Like all of a sudden you have resources you didn't know. Like I will feel like, oh, well, should I write? And what if it doesn't go anywhere? And what if this? And what if I'm not that? And all the doubts. But when I actually start writing, something else kicks in, and that creativity and that inspiration. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I am a God. Your brain chemistry literally changes. Your brain chemistry changes. Your vibration changes. You start seeing creative alternatives in every aspect of your life. So one of the most important things you can do in this lifetime is listen to that voice of love inside you and just do something you love. Don't think about, where's this going to go? Is this going to make money? How do I define this? Let's kick up the energy first. Let's kick up the strength first. When you kick up the energy and strength, then we're going to tailor it and define it.
Love that. Yeah, I think it reminds me of one of the other.
I could go on forever. I'm just trying to be respectful because this is all I do in all my retreats and all my programs. I have 5 billion things to say, but I'm just trying to say, oh yeah, let's shut up now.
It's great. Yeah. And we could do this many, many, many times, and hopefully we will have more conversations. Because it makes me think about one of the other things that the Course says, among thousands of wonderful things that the Course says, about the fact that joy is our only job. That's our function here. Forgiveness, joy, love, light, truth. That's our true function. And I think especially when we get into discussions about career, people get very concerned about finding their true purpose. And they can believe that their career, or their job title, is their purpose, when really our only purpose across the board for everybody on the planet is to be the light and the joy and the truth that we are. So that can manifest, that can look a lot of different ways. But underneath the job title and where we work and what we're doing every day, really we're all here to do the same things. And that is to just be the conduit of joy.
And that will manifest in very different ways for different people, right? So for some people, it's exactly what you just said. It's like, it's not just my job title, right? That if I secretly want to play music, I can play music on Wednesday nights. I don't have to leave my job to go join a band on Wednesday nights. Or if I'm secretly wanting to become a life coach, I can start studying becoming a life coach. You don't have to quit a job or a career or a life to do something you love. You can start doing it on the side and kicking up energy. Some people do have to leave. I had to leave because for your purposes of being that channel of joy, I was so unhappy that I couldn't. And by the way, when we're unhappy, that's sometimes a way that we know that, I'm blocking what my voice would have me do. I'm blocking what my heart would have me do, right? I'm blocking it because I knew what I want. I knew some of what I wanted. I didn't know all of it. But to your point, I think there's another level of it that, again, where sometimes people are so focused on what's my purpose, what's my mission. And it's become like this almost like new age neurosis now. Like, is this the right purpose? Is this the right mission? What if it's not? And to your point, I really think that if we're showing up in more love and in more light and we're loving ourselves more, everything changes, right? Everything changes because it's almost like, it's that like, no matter what your job is, like you're there as the light, no matter what your job is, you're there to share from love and to see from love. And that's a practice. And so I think for many of us, it will configure in many different ways. But I think the most important thing is to love yourself in it, to really like to listen to that love and to love yourself in it. Because sometimes it's really hard to, okay, fine, I'll love my job. I'll be the light of the world. It's like, I don't want anybody doing that out of force, right? Ever, 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 ever.
Right. Yeah, some of the simplest things, just waking up in the morning and feeling a sense of gratitude, or feeling a sense of gratitude at the end of the day, or anytime during the day, or just taking a moment to look around and, admire beauty, to think about something that brings joy to mind, a joyful memory, anything, that lights us up. And often it is the simplest things.
Yes.
So it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be about getting the perfect job or having the perfect family. In fact, if anything, if we're looking for perfection, we're probably operating from fear.
Keep looking forever. But yeah, to your point, I think that's true. Like what people miss or people misunderstand is that sometimes we're trying to solve a problem out there that's not really a problem out there. Right. And so it's like kind of what you were saying is that like by focusing on the simplest things of a moment of joy or a moment of gratitude, it's almost as though you get into a different state of mind. You get into a different state of consciousness. You're connected in a different way. And when you're connected in that different way, you see other possibilities, or the things that were troubling you at one level don't trouble you as much at another level. And so it's almost, I always give the example, like if you're all upset about something and frustrated about a bill that came in, but you go for a walk or you talk to a loved one or you play with your dog or whatever, and you're relaxed and you're more connected, you might come back and you see the same bill, but you feel differently. It's like, oh, what was I so worried about it? Like, fine, I'll pay it, right? And so much of this is about shifting your state of consciousness. And the reason I'm so fascinated with helping people find their calling and live their mission is because it's continuously making us shift our consciousness. It's my path of following my calling. I can't do it from fear. I can't do it from limitation. I can't do it in my old ways of forcing and making it happen. I have to listen to something higher. So it's an amazing spiritual journey.
Yeah. And I think that's such an important point, that it is all about going within rather than constantly scanning the landscape to see, are we pleasing people? Are we meeting their expectations? Are they meeting our expectations? Are we loved? Are we good enough? All of those things that our ego mind or smaller mind can constantly be engaged in without our even necessarily being aware. It can be kind of like just a chronic undercurrent that can keep us in a place of being stuck, being unhappy.
Yes.
But when we look within, as you just said so beautifully, then we can have that shift in consciousness and reconnect with that higher self and that remembrance of who and what we are as love.
That's exactly it. My latest book is Thriving Through Uncertainty, and it's moving beyond fear of the unknown and making change work for you. And one of the things that I was exploring in that book that people have found really helpful is that, how like we're always, like you said, scanning, and we're always thinking, well, when I get over there, it'll be okay. And when I get this, it'll be okay. When I get that job, it'll be okay. When I get that perfect person, it'll be okay. If you could just get that perfect person to move out now, it'll be okay. We're always putting our happiness and our peace somewhere else. And when I wrote Thriving Through Uncertainty, I was really exploring, how do you thrive now, here, through any uncertainty, through any fluctuation, through anything that's going on? Because the way that you do it is what we're talking about. Like, when I've hit uncertainty, it's where my linear mind doesn't have an answer and I don't know my usual tricks and I'm scared and I'm trying to figure out my whole life. And then I finally have the chance to listen to a voice inside me that can guide me through anything and everything in such a better way. So it's exactly that. Like the things that we hit in our lives are our chances to start listening to this inner voice or being that light. So
yeah, and it's so I think it is a wake-up call, for all of us, that we can wake up to something so different than the life that we've been taught to live. Because I think part of what often happens is that there is this societal blueprint, that really advises people to go a certain way, to follow a certain set of clues in life, if you will. Follow that path, and then you'll be successful. And it's, bucking that trend, being able to say, okay, I get it that those voices out there are advising me that way, but I'm going to listen to the voice in me and be willing clearly to go to the path, to follow that path that's right for you. And as you say, to listen to a higher voice that's guiding you on what's right for you instead of other people.
Yes. I think that's happening for more people than ever before, because I think the safe path isn't working and the old ways aren't working. And there's so much changes in the world, and there's so much changes for us individually, and life is moving so fast, and it can be disorienting, and it can be challenging, and it can be scary. But the upside of that is it's going to push more of us to find our deepest strength, instead of just casually getting by and casually just doing what we're supposed to, or what we make work, or whatever. We're now being able to access a deeper strength. And so that's the upside of all the changes that are going on, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think just knowing that we are the light of the world, that coming from that foundation changes everything. That's really what I write about in Be the Light That You Are. And then exploring other principles about letting go of judgment and rising above the drama in life, and forgiveness and detaching with love, all of those things that we talk about. But, if we try to do them from fear, we get very different results. But when we do them from the place of knowing that we're the light, starting from that foundation, then we have a very different outcome.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, let me ask you this. I want to ask as many people this question as possible, because I think it's fascinating to hear everyone's answers. And that is that if there's one thing you wish everyone on the planet could know today and forever, what would that be?
I think it's what we're talking about. I think it's, for me, it's trusting that inner voice, trusting that love. And I think along those lines, what I'd want somebody to know is that your dreams and your desires, they're not frivolous. They're not just little like side whispers. They're not just distractions. They're a code. They're an instruction. They're your life's path. And so the things that you're just casually ignoring or thinking, oh, that's stupid, or who am I, or I don't have this talent, or I couldn't be that, or I'm just too old already, or whatever you might be telling yourself, those dreams or those whispers or those little flickers of intuition, to me, that is the Spirit's voice speaking to you. That is the code of your life. That is your opportunity. If you follow those, for me, it's not frivolous, it's imperative at this time. It will give you greater health. It will give you greater joy. It will give you greater security. It's what you're here for. So if anybody out there is doubting themselves or doubting what they can have or who they are or how they can even hear their inner voice, I guess that's what I would want you to know, is that nothing else in this world matters. The only thing that's imperative is that you listen to that code and that genius and that love and intelligence in you and work with it for the rest of your life, because it's why you're here, and it's going to take you everywhere. That's what I'd want people to know.
Love it.
Besides, buy all my books, come to my website, all that stuff, but...
Absolutely.
On a side note.
Oh, well, and I was going to ask you if there was anything else that you wanted to say too. And that's what I would say. Buy Tama's books, buy my books as well. Really put them together, because there is so much that we're saying in a little bit different form. But it's like you're talking about listening to spirit guides.
Yes. I guess I'd invite people to come to my website at tamakieves.com, and that's TAMAKIE, V as in Victor, ES.com. And make sure you sign up for my free Thrive Guide that gets you past, it's instant practices to get you past fear, but then it just gets you in our community, because we're creating a worldwide community of living from inspiration instead of fear. I'm on Facebook every day and on Twitter, all the usual channels. I do retreats all over the country, and I have a lot of online programs, a lot of free programs. So I would love to hear from people, because for me, it's really about creating that community that we're doing this together. Like, to work with different teachers, to read different resources, because you can't hear it enough times. You cannot hear it enough times. And again, if you resonate with somebody, make sure that you stay in that kind of community or focus, because most of us, I think, in our lives, we don't always have the people that are seeing it sometimes, or sometimes I know I've felt lonely at different times that like, wow, other people aren't thinking like me. So that's why I've created a lot of community for people to join together and to constantly be reminded, that there is an inspiration inside you, and you want to listen to that more than your fear at all times. So anything that reminds you, make sure that you're doing that. So that would be something I'd share.
Yes. And I would just add my recommendation to everyone to check out Tama's courses, her books, her workshops, everything that she's doing. That's really, you just touched on the reason that I wanted to do this series of interviews, because I think we are all talking about these things, again, maybe in just a little bit different way, but we need everybody's voices talking about the light and the love that we are, how we can, manifest our dreams and bring this joy and this beauty into this world. I love the fact that we were able to talk about this topic. I've got 9 more interviews to go along with the different principles and Be the Light That You Are. And every one of them explores one of those spiritual principles to give, kind of coming at them from different angles, but really meeting in a central place, a wonderful meeting place. So I hope that everyone will check out the other interviews in this series as well. Also go to my website, debraengle.com, for more information about Be the Light That You Are and my other books, also online programs and workshops across the country and in other countries as well. So just appreciate everyone being here, watching this, and Tama, especially to you, huge thanks for taking time out of your day to be here with us.
Oh, yes, and thank you so much for the work that you're doing, Deb. Thank you for making this available to all of us and for bringing different experts to teach people and for the work you're doing to do this. And I also just want to thank everybody who's watching this at this moment for every time you choose the light in you, every time you choose love in you, you're doing it for all of us, and we're doing it with you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you so much, Deb, for inviting.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And to all of you watching, have a beautiful and blessed day and keep shining that light that you are. Thanks so much.